And we're live once again for the MUSA 20 election debates. This time it's for the candidates for a welfare officer. So we got Wilson and Alia with us, and we're gonna hopefully have a good session. So yeah, we'll just run through the itinerary really quickly. First of all, we've got the intros, which we're in right now. We've got 5 to 7 minutes opening statement from Wilson and Alia. And then we've got 15 to 20 minutes of questions from our office bearers. We've got a few of them lined up today for Wilson and Alia, our candidates. And then we also have a Q&A from the audience. So you, the viewers, get to ask questions for Wilson and Alia. Drop them in the YouTube chat and we'll pass it along to them for them to answer. And then at the end, we'll round it off with a closing statement of 5 minutes. So yeah, hopefully we have a good time and a smooth session here. No technical difficulties and weird comments this time. So let's get going with Wilson and Alia. If you don't mind, you can go ahead with your opening statement.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alia.
And I'm Wilson.
And we are your welfare officer candidates for MUSA 2021. Firstly, we would like to take the time to thank you for giving us this opportunity to speak on a public platform. So to start off, student welfare encompasses services that promote mental and social well-being of students. For us, our vision of MUSA 2021 is to foster a culture of listening and positive interaction within the school community to create a safe and healthy learning environment where the needs and necessities of every student are met accordingly. So Wilson and I decided to run for election because we are determined to ensure the welfare of all students by listening to everyone without bias. Every student deserves a chance to speak their mind, regardless of their background. So as students, we understand the significance of mental health as it directly affects our ability to be efficient learners. Therefore, we place the utmost importance in ensuring student welfare within Monash University. So prior to entering Monash, we were both involved in the Mafi Student Council in Sunway, where we worked alongside each other, holding the position of president and social responsibilities. Therefore, with our past experience, we can assure every single one of you that both Wilson and I are passionate about ensuring the well-being and mental state of every student. You see, student safety extends beyond physical well-being. To have a safe learning environment, students must feel welcome, supported, and respected. We strive to develop and promote an inclusive and safe environment which every student is equally welcomed. Now we would like to move on to our proposed initiatives to enhance student welfare in Monash. So how will we do this, you ask? Well, let me tell you that we have come up with contingency plans accounting for both the physical and online environment as we anticipate for any situation that is to come in the following year. So in the scenario where university has to be taken online, we've got you covered. In fact, we have contingency plans for both face-to-face and online. As of right now, we understand that although Monash students cannot physically enter a set campus space together, we want them to be able to log on, plug in, and engage with one another remotely. So one of the welfare activities involve online bonding games, as we still want students to be able to interact with their fellow peers, if not in person. We place the utmost importance on mental well-being, and it starts with connecting you with others. Our focus for this online bonding games is to provide a platform for students to de-stress with familiar faces on campuses, allowing you to meet your future on-campus friends. So our next initiative is a Monash tradition, well known among students as Wellness Week. Personally, I have not been able to experience this traditional event. However, working closely with our current office bearers, we plan to add additional new flavors to what was already a calm and accommodating day. Apart from this, we want to continue the current initiative for food giveaways, as we know that students all around our campus love free, delicious food. We know that this makes students happy, as it has been proven time and time again. We have seen how excited all of you are when spotting food trucks in the morning, and we wish to continue and expand that excitement with foods of your choice to increase those serotonin levels. Thank you.
Thank you, Alia. To further continue, in relation to providing all of you with a tad bit of happiness, we also want to continue with existing initiatives of our welfare office bearers on the subject matter of the BRT parking rebate. Though we understand that due to COVID, not many wish to come to campus, we would like to take a load off the jam stress by helping students pay less for their parking fee. We also wish to try our absolute best to improve our university facilities as we hear your complaints pertaining to the basketball court and the gym. We will be liaising with the facilities department to ensure that facilities are clean and safe for your use. As mentioned in our manifesto, we stand firm in advocating for student rights and representing your views to drive change. When we are elected, we wish to embody open-mindedness and provide all of you open consultation sessions at the lounge, working together with our own Monash in-house counselors. As a side note, we want to be there for you if you ever need a friend to talk to or you encounter any problems out of academics. Do not ever feel that your problems are irrelevant. If it is affecting your welfare or well-being, it is our #1 priority as welfare officers to direct you to appropriate services. In accordance to what ACM stands for, we aim to have active engagement with our community and address your concerns in an open, welcome environment. We notice that students don't really voice their concerns on official platforms, perhaps due to anonymity issues. So we wish to find a way for us to officially recognize them and get in contact. This initiative is aimed to identify difficulties students face and other issues early on and intervene in time. We, alongside with other members of MUSA, wish to form a platform where students can submit a feedback or complaint form directly to us. Then we will answer it. We will bring it up to MUSA to answer it together. We wish to give updates weekly on the feedback that we receive. Alia and I are also very excited to implement new change in Lepak Place. Have you ever heard a student say, "Let's go to Lepak Place, chill and have lunch"? No, because I have never as well. We believe that Lepak Place could be so much more. It is a resource used inefficiently and we want to maximize full use of it. It starts with a main attraction to promote a relaxing environment, and I believe it starts with implementing a basic sound system that allows students to play their own music. This lets us cultivate a cozy and lively ambience. As Alia mentioned, we will advocate for a safe learning environment to ensure safety and student well-being on campus. We'll record all the responses we obtain on the feedback form that point out potential safety issues. Examples of this could be damaged chairs or potential hazards that could injure students. Safety starts with prevention. Another initiative we have is a lost and found system implementation. We wish to liaise with the security department to inform us when something is lost. Then twice a week, we will update the MUSA page and feature a story highlight showing all missing items for that week. No longer will you have to worry if you have left anything at Monash or not. We will work closely with publicity to ensure that these highlights come through. Finally, I would like to firmly maintain that the list of activities that we have planned do not end here. We will be considering your suggestions for any event related to student welfare. You can always get in contact with us from our Forms initiative or the MUSA Welfare email communication channel. With that, I would like to thank you.
All right, finished right on time. So well done, guys. We'll be moving on to the next part of our debates with our current and previous office bearers. So it's my honor to bring on Angel, Zoe, and Sean into the debates. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Take it away with your questions to Wilson and Alia.
Hi, Zoe and Angel.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Hello.
All right, Zoe, you want to ask first?
So who's
Sure. Okay. According to your manifesto, I've seen quite a few new things. But before we get into that, I think like Angel will get into that later on. What I have for you is disregarding everything that you've told us, like what you want to do. What do you think currently, in your from your point of view, what do you think a welfare officer means to you? And also, for example, what are the responsibilities do you think that you would be you would have to take up as a welfare officer?
Sorry, we couldn't hear the last part of the question.
Okay, I'll just repeat. So what I said was, in your opinion, like from your view of point of view, what do you think a welfare officer has to take up in terms of responsibilities?
All right, thank you very much for your question, Zoe. Would you like to answer that? Yeah. All right.
So basically, for welfare officer, as you know, we have a very large wide job scope. So basically, we take care of the locker system, we take care of facilities, we take care of the security. And as you know, we've said that we want to push for a lost and found system where everybody will know, and there won't be people who be thinking, where do I find out if I've lost something or anything? We will provide them with that. And other things that we deal with is the mental well-being and emotional welfare of our students. We want to be there for them. As we said, we want to push forward for open consultation hours where we can just simply be their friend or be there for them to help them with their issues. And we just want to be the person that students can come to help them with any issues out of academics. Yes.
Thank you. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Wilson?
Well, personally, I believe that as student welfare officers, my main concern is about student well-being. But student well-being is so widely defined. For me, I want student well-being to be where students feel like they're a part of an inclusive environment, where they don't feel afraid to speak out, where they can speak whatever that they want to speak. We want to give them that platform and that security so that they feel safe in their own university, right? So we plan to have these consultation sessions, as Alia said, with these Monash in-house counselors, and this gives you the ability. This gives you the ability in order to build the confidence within students so that they can do these things that we aim to achieve. And with that, that's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. No further questions from me for now.
Okay, so I guess I'll ask the next question. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'll just ask you questions according to your manifesto. You all have said that you all wish to produce a positive change of attitude, Monash. So may I ask, what is the current attitude that you guys have identified, and what is the change of attitude that you guys would like to see specifically?
Thank you for that question, Angel. I would like to answer that question. Currently, the general idea of what students feel in Monash, taking into account the situation of COVID and with online learning, many students feel like they are stuck at home, that they can't come to campus and they can't experience their full university life, right? And because as very young, we're always told that, university life is going to be some of the best times of our life. And suddenly this opportunity is taken away from you. So as in a standpoint of a student, you feel unhappy with the circumstances that are unfolding. So what we plan to do for welfare officers is that we want to bring this university experience back to home, where we can provide it in an online session where you can meet other people and you can go through activities together with one another. So we hope that with these initiatives, we would be able to bring that university experience that we were all promised, when we were younger, back to your house. Thank you.
All right, cool. Thank you for that. Also, I have another question. You have mentioned that you would like to advocate for student happiness through free food giveaways, events, food trucks, etc. Right? So I would like to know if you guys have any rough ideas that you guys would how would you like to carry out your giveaways, and what would the frequency be like, or how do you plan to promote the initiative and so on?
All right. So basically, we would like to do our giveaways almost basically twice a month for free food giveaways. And we'll also like to promote it more. Basically, we want to work really closely with publicity officers to publicize these initiatives that we've worked hard on, to make sure every student knows that this is happening. Because currently I've heard from a lot of students that not many people know about these giveaways. Personally, I've not really hurt much of it. And so that's what we aim to do, really work closely with publicity. So all our initiatives are put forward and free food giveaways, because we know a lot of people love that. And hopefully we can accommodate it into our budget for next year.
All right. Actually, with that saying, I have another question. Say, since there's a very high possibility of MUSA experiencing a budget cut next year, let's say 60% budget reduction, okay? So your department can only obtain, let's say, a 15K per year, okay? So how would you continue to advocate for students' happiness still, if that's an issue?
We personally believe that that a budget cut, in order to advocate for student well-being and happiness, a budget isn't a defining factor in that, because there are so many different ways in which you can promote student welfare and student well-being. It doesn't necessarily have to be, it doesn't necessarily have to involve money. We already have facilities and assets that we can use at the MUSA Lounge. And from what I hear, we have a storeroom with a lot of items in there that we can use, that previous term office bearers have already purchased. So with the budget cuts, we aim to use and utilize whatever we already have so that we can run these activities.
We also want to liaise with other departments to be able to still put forward our events to happen. And also, since we're welfare, we can also liaise with management to request for extra funds in the name of the students.
All right, since you have said that there are initiatives that do not require funds to advocate for student happiness, what are the examples of those initiatives that do not require funds?
All right.
All right, thank you very much for that question, Angel. That's a very good question, actually, for these initiatives, because the initiatives that we've mentioned inside our speech over here, we're talking about like free food giveaways and like trucks, which did involve money. But we do have a lot of online initiatives where we have a lot of student bonding sessions with one another. And the idea of these sessions is to try and reduce anxiety and stress within students so that they can meet one another and they can communicate with each other. So these kind of activities are very, very almost a no budget kind of activity, I would say, because it only involves logging onto the internet and going onto a session to speak to one another. Along with that, just a little sneak peek into one of our events, we did think of having this thing called Monash speed dating. So the idea of Monash speed dating is that we would set up tables in a row, and every 2 or 3 minutes, we would rotate a person on each and every table. So these tables are already a part of facilities in Monash that we can use. Then of course, we'd have chairs. And this is just one of those events that we would not need a big budget for.
All right. Actually, just to clarify over here, because what I caught just now from you guys is that you guys have mentioned that the lounge is also part of like the initiative to advocate for students' happiness. But I would like to also like share that almost half of the budget that you guys have goes into the lounge. Are you guys aware of that? So by that saying that it means the maintenance of the lounge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So are you guys aware that half of the budget will go into the lounge?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, that's why we plan to prioritize the events that really cater to the students and their happiness. It's all based on prioritization for events.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Sean, do you have any questions regarding this issue?
Yeah, I do. Okay, so where do I start? Okay, based on your last statement, you said you guys would prioritize events that are catered for students, right? What is your criteria to prioritize the event? Each student has different interests, different needs. So how would you guys put a criteria on it?
Well, it's true. I do agree with you that each and every student do have different kinds of interests. So when we create events, certain events do not cater to other students, and we do agree with that. However, we did mention that we would be giving out a form. What's it called? Yeah, the feedback form. We wanted to implement a feedback form system at the MUSA Lounge where students can suggest or they can say what kind of events that they're interested in, and then we would take it in and we'll bring it into consideration within the MUSA community, and that's when we will form our events and activities. So it's not only what we believe that students want, it's students themselves who say what they want. And those are the kinds of events that we wish to hold. Thank you.
Okay, feedback form. All right, we've tried the feedback form. How would you get students to actually fill up the
That
form?
is a very good question.
But because take it from me, they don't want to do it.
I believe that that's a very
Sorry?
good question because currently, I'm sure many of you guys are aware about Monash Confessions page, right? So we believe that the reason so many students are so happy to post their comments or their anonymous messages on this Monash Confessions page is because that they are anonymous. They don't have to put their name on it. That's why they're so verbal. That's why they speak out so loudly, so clearly. So with this feedback form, we hope that we can ensure anonymity so that we can get students to feel trusted, and then they will give their feedback to us.
Well, it has been tried. It didn't work. Do you guys have any other ideas on implementing it?
Is there a reason that the feedback form didn't work?
They're just lazy to do it, to be completely honest with you. We even tried offering them free pool just for them to come and fill up a feedback. Trust me, they just want the attention of the confession page because they just want to write whatever they want and they want everyone to see it. Because if they give you a feedback form, only you can see it, right? It defeats their purpose. They just want to blast out and rant out. So if you guys want to implement this, you need to figure out a better way for them to actually give you feedback. Because we've tried everything, just short of bribing them, we've tried everything. They just don't want to do it. They expect you to know what they want without them telling you. Okay? Just giving you all a heads up.
All right. Okay.
Second
Thank you very much.
Sure thing. The second thing I'll talk about is the lost and found. You do know it's already been implemented, right? It's already been liaised with security and it's already been, there's a Facebook page just for the lost and found. So you guys, want to, could you guys explain a bit more what you want to do with the lost and found?
You want to explain that? Yeah. All right. Sean, yes, that is true. We are aware that there is a Facebook page for a Monash Lost and Found. But we spoke to our previous office bearers and they did mention also about this Facebook page. But the recent posts on this Facebook page were from many, many, many months ago. It's not an active page. People don't specifically go to the page to go and see, but they would rather go to confessions page where people post pictures of what they found that was missing onto the page. And then their friends somehow see that picture and then they tag their friend, hey, you lost this thing. You go and check it out. Right? So the reason why that they go to the confessions page is because there is no other medium that many people can see. So that's the main reason that they go to the confessions page. So we plan to use our MUSA Instagram account because the Instagram account has a very, very wide outreach for all the students in Monash. So with this, together with the confessions page, we believe we can implement an even greater system for the lost and found.
Okay, wait. So you guys are going to post one post on Instagram for each item a student loses.
That's not what we do plan to do is that twice a week we would gather all the missing materials. We would take a picture of it on the story for MUSA and then create a highlight over there of lost and found. So if students do lose an item or something, they go on their phone immediately, click on the highlight, see if they lost anything. If they do see any items, they just text MUSA Instagram page.
Okay, so but you know security is the one that holds the lost items, right? Not MUSA. MUSA's job is just to pass it to security and we just publicize.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to do. Publicize.
Good idea with the highlight. I like that. That's a good idea. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, do I still have time? Do I?
You've got about 4 minutes and 20 seconds left.
Okay, I'll make it quick. Okay. You guys spoke about which one? Oh my god, so many to choose. I don't know which one to choose from. Okay. Wellness week. You guys spoke about. You guys want to promote mental health well-being. How do you all plan to do that?
So basically, for our wellness week, we plan to have puppies. We want to continue the SPCA therapy dogs, but we also want to include cats to be inclusive of our Muslim friends, along with pushing for
Okay.
Monash counseling sessions to promote
Okay.
our Monash counselor with on-the-spot sessions to really break the barrier between counselors and students. So we really want
Okay.
to promote their existence, because I know for a fact that people don't really know about our counselors. They don't know they exist, no matter how much
Okay.
publicity. So yeah, we hope people come here
Okay.
and
Okay, because I'm short on time, I'm going to rush you a little bit. We've already tried promoting about the counselors. The reason we don't bring cats and dogs is because SPCA refuses to do it because they can't handle the mess. Because there was once the dog escaped, ran all the way to Auditu. So if that happens to a cat and dog, it's a very bad combo. So just a little feedback. Okay, next question. You guys wanted to do open consultation in the lounge, right?
Yes.
You know the lounge is extremely packed during operation hours up to the point there's no place to walk. So how do you guys plan to do open consultation in the lounge?
We're thinking of an office initiative where we would have counselors placed in office, because the first thing about counseling is that students feel scared to go to counseling. What happens if I go to counseling and then my friend from outside looks through the door and sees, hey, why is Wilson going inside counseling? What's wrong with him? So we try to make sure that, we try to maintain privacy. So when we say open counseling session, we don't mean wide and open in lounge. So we hope to utilize an office, a closed confined space, so that we can host these counseling sessions. So whenever a student wants to go, they just walk through MUSA during the times and they go in.
Okay, so you want to create an office for them to go for counseling when the counselors already have an office, but you want to put it in the lounge, am I right?
Not to create an office for counselors that they already have, because we feel that students are very, they already have habit to go to the student lounge, right? And students always go to the lounge when they have their free time. So because as us, right, we're new students. We just joined Monash in the October 2019, and if you ask me where the counselor's office is, I would have a hard time telling you until very recently. But if you ask me where student lounge is, immediately I can tell you next to the football field, the fake football field.
Okay, with that thought in mind, you guys said that you don't want students to go to the counselors and people to look through the door and see, oh, what is he doing in counseling, right?
Right.
Now,
right.
if you put even if you have a closed environment in the lounge where it's completely packed, and somebody walks into the counseling office where everyone in the lounge can see they're going into that office, don't you think it defeats the purpose? And the counselor's office is a little bit more secluded and the doors have blinds. So don't you think it'd be better to promote what they already have than to put an office in the center of where everybody already is? And when somebody walks in, the whole crowd will just silently judge you?
Well, at the same time, these offices, because many students go to the student lounge, these offices will by itself promote that we do have counseling sessions. So when students do walk past, immediately they know, hey, Monash actually does have consultation sessions. They keep that in their mind. Then immediately,
but
if
a banner will do the
really,
same thing.
Sorry?
A banner or a notice will do the same thing. By making them walk through a crowd, to be completely honest, I've been to counseling. I would prefer to go to the secluded place in building 2 where no one knows I'm going for counseling, then walk through the center of the lounge and they have counseling. Okay, I'm going to go in now, and everybody looks at you. And then when you come out later, hey Sean, why you went in there for what? You see my point? It's better where it's the secluded place where students feel safe, they can go in without being judged by walking through. But I do admit they need a bit more publicity, so maybe you can work on that. But the security of where it is now is actually a very good thing. And to be honest, the counselors are quite packed, to actually get a slot with them is quite difficult. So I think they're doing quite okay, but they could use a bit more publicity.
Yeah. Thing is
some recent information that we had was that
from my friends, from my own group of friends, not many people really know about it. It's normally people who are already have the experience of going to counseling, then they look out for it. But for people who have exam stress, they don't know that you can go to a counselor and that it is free. So we want to make sure people know the entire national stuff.
So I guess that leads to better publicity, right? Instead of having a
Yes.
new place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's my point, lah. Because I don't think the council will be very happy if you guys put it in center, somewhere near where there's a lot of crowd. They don't like it so much as well. Okay.
Right.
So
All right.
you guys will
I'll
have to
just
think.
jump in really quickly. We'll go hold your thoughts because we'll come back to you guys because we've got a few questions from the audience. So we'll get through that and then we can continue with our office bearers. We have lots of questions, great questions today. So be patient. We'll be back. We've got a first question from a galaxy far, far away. Celine Chewbacca. You mentioned Lepak Place in your speech just now, but how are you going to revamp Lepak Place when it's not under your jurisdiction?
All right, thank you very much, Celine. You are correct, actually. Lepak Place is not under our department's jurisdiction. In fact, Lepak Place is handled by Student Life. But in our department as student welfare officers, we are the connection between what MUSA is and Student Life. So we have to liaise very closely with Student Life so that we can push for initiatives, so that we can make changes. For example, if you don't like the food in the cafeteria, you can come to us in MUSA and we immediately will tell Student Life. Most of the time, students don't really hear about Student Life, they hear about MUSA. MUSA has bigger publicity compared to Student Life. So when they come to us, we will be that bridge between the students and Student Life, and we will let Student Life know, if they want to make any changes, if students wish to see any changes.
So basically, what Wilson's trying to say is we will represent your views to drive change for them.
All right. Moving on to the next question from Melissa Louis. How would you be able to talk to admins as welfare officers to obtain money when Angel hypothetically mentioned a budget cut? What if the admins are not willing to provide the cash?
How would you be able to talk to admins as welfare officers to obtain money when Angel hypothetically mentioned a budget cut? What if the admins are not willing to provide the cash?
So
How would you be able to talk to admins?
basically, what we'd be trying to do is we promote more. We would do more increase our collaboration with other MUSA departments. We work closely with them to push forward our initiatives, and again, lies with BP, CNS to basically push forward our initiatives no matter the budget cut.
At the same time, we can also work together with Student Life to obtain some more money for any events that maybe Student Life would also be interested in. So we can liaise together with Student Life so that we can perhaps combine budgets so that we can create an event together collaboratively.
All right. Moving on to the next question from Celine again. Wouldn't certified counselors be more qualified to provide counseling and not welfare officers?
We're not
How
providing
can you
counseling.
assure students? Hang on, let me finish the question. How can you assure students to trust the both of you?
Well, thank you very much, Celine, for that question. But actually, in our speech, we didn't mention that we would be the ones providing the counseling sessions. In fact, we were the ones who were trying to promote counselors from Monash because counselors in Monash don't have that publicity that we are able to provide. So we have no need for students to trust us in counseling because we will not be providing counseling. We'll be directing you to the direction of where counselors will be.
Maybe you were confused with the open consultation sessions that we said we would have, with basically where you can bring up your issues and we can direct your issues to the appropriate services that you need.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to the next question from Celine again. As much as you can liaise or propose to SL, I presume that means Student Life, but to revamp is also based off their decisions ultimately. How can you ensure needs are met?
Again, thank you, Celine, for that question. I'm really appreciative that that you're very involved with MUSA. I think it makes MUSA a much better place with so much competition. Well, first thing is first, Student Life tries to work to the best interest of students. Student Life isn't there to try and make as much money as they can. They're also here for us, right? They're trying to make the best of interest with the both of us. So if every student in the campus, if every student in campus wants something, we as student welfare officers have to take the opinions of everybody and compile it into documentation, have solid evidence, pass it to student life, and we convince them that this is actually what students really want. Because at the end of the day, we are the connection between what student life is and the body of students. We are here to make sure that we have the proper material and evidence to show that students actually want this. So with that, we can convince student life.
I have to say, unfortunately, Wilson and Ollie, I don't think that's really an answer to the question. Would you mind answering that a little bit more specifically? Because there's not really an assurance there that you can actually make ends meet for students. So would you mind being a little bit more specific as to how you can actually get student life to listen to you guys? I mean, it's all well and good to say you're the voice of the students, but there has to be a specific way.
Right.
Basically, what we wanted to do was actually, this is all what we're representing the students' views. So what we wanted to do was basically create this petition and gather all the feedback, signatures, everything to push student life to say, hey, this is what the students want. Your student life is supposed to cater to their needs.
Exactly.
So we'll gather all the students and we'll show them the proof that we need to push forward this because we need to meet their needs. In the end, we will fight for it.
All right. Okay. So if we haven't got any more questions from the audience, we'll go back to the office bearers because it does seem like they still have a lot of questions. So Sean, Zoe, and Angel, which one of you want to go first with your questions?
Sean, you want to go first?
Okay, sure. Okay, back to my list. So you guys said you guys wanted to repair the rings on the basketball courts and all that, right? Have you seen the condition of the futsal court? It was due for renovation at least 4 years ago. And I've been in office for 2 years chasing them for it. They've just been saying, end of the year, end of the year, end of the year, and they've been dragging it. So how do you guys actually think you could push them to do it? Because to be honest, this is the best time for them to repair. There's no one on campus using it. But yet they don't do it. So how do you guys plan to push for this? Because when it rains, water comes in from all the sides and it just floods the court. It becomes a slipping hazard. I brought it up to OHSC. I brought it up to Student Life. I brought it up to whoever already. Up to now, we're going to do it. It's in the master plan. That's the magic word. It's in the master plan. But nothing is done. So how do you plan to push through?
Thank you very much for that question, Sean. I believe you are right. It is a very good time to push for these renovations right now because this is the time when students are engaging in online learning. They're not coming by the campus, and then the capacity of the campus is not as large as before. However, we have to take into mind that we will be assuming office in next year in January. But this isn't an excuse to say, how we're not going to push for them to do the renovation on the court. So I believe one of the best solutions for this is in the times of injustice, where you feel that what you're saying doesn't go through directly to the management and they don't take you seriously. In times of justice, the best way to do it is to get a group of people to gather that publicity. So all the students are in on it together.
It will feel much more pressure, basically.
To pressure.
It didn't work. This is why you guys have to think of something because we've tried a lot of things, it didn't work. So if you guys really want to push through, you have to find a real way. We've tried blackmailing, we've tried a lot of things, trust me, a lot of things which you don't want to know we've tried. It didn't work. So when they say they won't do, there's literally nothing you can do to force them. No matter how many students say what, or no matter who says what, they're not going to listen to you. So what do you guys plan to do in these kind of scenarios? Because these scenarios will happen. I can confirm it will happen. So what do you guys going to do? Gathering students' opinions is not going to help. You guys need to do something. So you guys have to, putting you on the spot to make you think of something now is completely unfair. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up. This will happen. So think of something. Okay? So I'll move on to my next question. Angel did mention a lot of cost goes towards the launch, right? Like almost half your budget. Yeah, okay. So like what she said, if half your cost, half your budget already goes to the launch, and you guys said you wanted to ask Student Life for more money, they don't give it to you. What are you gonna do?
Thank you very much for that question, Sean.
Because let me give you an example, make it easier for you. The pool tables in the launch cost 6,000 a year to maintain. Because the cloths have to be changed before each Monash Cup when there's pool, and it costs 6,000. All right. Pool cues will cost you $1,000 in the start of the year itself, because they will get bent, they will get broken, people will drop it in the launch. Things happen. We have implemented all kinds of penalties, but they still do happen. So, and then the equipment you guys rent out in the launch, that will cost you around $500 to $600 a semester. So there's a lot of expenses in the launch, which we try not to take the money from the students. We charge them like a base fee, and the money we make is most likely just nice to pay the laundries and maintain small things around the launch. So with the budget cut, it might happen, which I hope not, because you guys have already been getting cut a lot from what I had. So now it's fine because the launch isn't open, but it's opening soon from what I hear. So next year you'll probably have it. So assuming you get the budget cut, and it's just nice to get just enough money to maintain the launch, how do you want to run any events? Because Student Life has gone into this entire concept where they want you guys to raise funds. They want you guys to find sponsors. But to be completely honest, who's going to sponsor university students? To be completely honest with you, especially when you say I'm from Monash. The first thing that comes into your head, oh, you've got money, why do you need sponsorship? So how do you plan to overcome this issue?
Sorry. That's not really that much budget. That's a very good question, Sean. Thank you very much for that question. We do agree with you that the budget cuts are very, very restraining, right, in terms of the events that we can hold. Personally, I feel that the best thing that we can do is hope that the budget that we do receive, because I feel there must be a minimum amount of budget that we receive so that we can run these Monash facilities. If we don't receive a big enough budget and we cannot run these facilities, what more can we do as students? You know, because
exactly.
in the past, we're given a bigger budget. So if you know, Monash management, they really want to see the collapse of MUSA by not giving us any of these funds, then there's not much that we can really do besides beg, besides beg, or you know, find sponsors, as you've mentioned.
Okay. All right. So that didn't exactly answer my question, but okay, you guys think about it. Okay. So it's one last question from me, and then I'll stop. Okay. I promise. One last question. Okay. So you guys said you wanted to bring music to Lepak Place, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how do you plan to implement it and regulate the music? Because you don't want people people playing a very explicit music in public, right? Because
Right.
you do have lecturers and some parents there, so you don't exactly want it. So how do you plan to regulate it? And that's the first part of the question. This is part B of the question. We've been asking Monash to put a shade from the foyer to the guardhouse, because when it rains, we can't reach the guardhouse without walking through the medical building. Now they put a nice shade in front of Lepak Place. They put a nice shade in front of the cafeteria, but they are refusing to do this. They've just been delaying and been saying master plan. So don't you think pushing for this is a little bit more important than pushing for music in Lepak Place? So that's the last question, part A, part B. That's it for me.
Thank you very much, Sean.
Because I'm asking you about the type of music with. Oh no.
Sean, is everything okay?
The first thing to answer the first part of the question for the explicit content about the music, the software that we will be using will be an open source software. This software will allow anyone with Spotify or Apple Music to connect to it, and then they can cue music. Because Spotify and Apple already have these explicit tags for any music that meet the criteria of explicit, then the system will automatically filter out these explicit music. So the sound system that we choose to implement is mainly a set of speakers and from a speaker into a small digital computer. And then we implement this open source software onto it, and then you can connect it through with Wi-Fi and an app on your phone. So that is how we would control the explicit music, as you mentioned, for the open jukebox, right? As for your question about the shade, opening from where was it? The guardhouse all the way until the foyer. How will we? I'm sorry, Sean, could you repeat the second part of your question when you mentioned the shades?
Okay, so basically, we've been asking them to put a shade from the foyer up to the guardhouse, so it rains, right? Currently, we have to walk through building 2. Sorry, we have to walk through the medicine building to get to the guardhouse. So what I'm trying to ask is, rather than implementing, let's say, a jukebox and pushing for a jukebox, can't you guys? Would you guys be able to push for the shade first?
Yes, we would be able to, but currently, as people, as students contesting for this for MUSA general elections, we weren't aware of these MUSA related. Because for me personally, I am not from MUSA, but I did come from a student council previously, so I was not aware of this shade issue that you are currently speaking about. But yes, I do agree with you that we should prioritize this shade thing over jukebox, right? Because if that's really what students need, then that's something that we should cater for. So when we created this jukebox initiative, it wasn't in mind that we had these shades, the shade issue as you mentioned. So that wasn't in the top of our mind. So that's the first thing I'd like to say. As a part for the second part, how we push our management so that they can make these shades. If that is the case, for the past few years, MUSA has been pushing for this idea, and
we'll definitely keep this in mind, and we'll think more about this issue and a solution for this problem, because we understand that it is an issue faced by students. I think I personally face that issue too. So we'll definitely think more about it, but thank you for your question.
All right. So did you guys answer how you guys plan to regulate the music? Because I disconnected. Sorry.
Okay. Very very quickly, the software that we choose to use is an open source software that connects to the computer, and then from your computer into a set of speakers. And so when you queue music from Apple or from Spotify, they do have an explicit tag. So based on the company, there's a set of regulations and requirements for you to set explicit tag if your music contains certain type of language or certain types of connotations to things. So using that software, we'll be able to filter out any kind of explicit music and just skip it and play whatever that is inexplicit.
Okay, so just another heads up, the launch currently has a Spotify. So maybe you guys should get a Spotify family this time and like split it into 2 places because it's way cheaper for MUSA. Okay?
All right, okay.
All right, that's it. I'm done with the questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Sean, for your questions.
All right. What about Zoe and Angel? Do you guys have any more questions for Wilson and Alia?
Zoe, you can go first.
Okay. Just now when Sean actually brought up the questions that I wanted to ask already, I mainly just wanted to know about the jukebox initiative, which I think you guys have already covered. The other one is about the shade, which I think you guys weren't aware of. So I just, it's more of like, not really a question, but more of like trying to get you guys to draw your attention to this issue with anything actually that matters. Like you want to change, for example, the shade thing. We actually, Angel and I actually tried to talk to the board about this before. And then because it's a permanent change, it's a permanent change to the facilities of Monash. And although it's beneficial, I remember the response was, bring your own device, which means they want us as students to bring your own umbrellas to campus to avoid getting rained on instead of asking the school to build a shade. So I'm just, maybe this is something for you to think about, or if you cannot get an answer right now, this is something for you to think about. But if you do, I would love to hear what you would respond to that. Like, for example, if you did bring this up and then they told you the same thing what they told Angel and I when we brought this up, how would you respond?
Guys, I'd urge you to answer the question a little bit quicker as well, because we're running out of time.
Is it possible if you could repeat the last bit of your question, Zoe?
Yeah, so I basically just wanted to know what would your response to the board be, or anything like student life or other departments. If their response is no, technically it's like no, and asking you as a student to bring your own device, for example, bring your own umbrella instead of asking the school to build a shade, how would you respond to this? Yeah. It's okay if you don't have an answer right now, just because of the time constraints. And I think Angel might have some more questions, but just briefly, maybe, yeah, if you could.
We'll keep that in mind. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For sure. Thank you very much, Zoe.
Oh wait, so is it my turn? Okay. Since there's a time constraint, I would like to ask my few final questions for you guys. So regarding the Lepak Place, the jukebox that you guys have mentioned in your manifesto, how would you ensure that the other students would want to listen to someone else's cute song?
Right.
Like, have you guys thought about that before?
Yes, we did.
We did. Yes or no answer. Okay, cool. So
in fact, we did think about this, and that was part of what was going to be the fun bit of having this jukebox. And the idea was that you are forced to listen to the opinions and the taste of other people's music, no matter you like it or you don't. So, for example, it's like if you're eating at a restaurant and the restaurant has a playlist going on, but you don't like the music that's going on, in the end, you'll still be listening through the music and you know,
Okay,
I get it. Yeah. I get it.
Right.
Good. That's
like
okay.
the fun aesthetic of having the jukebox.
Yeah.
Which
Okay,
I really
cool.
enjoyed.
All right. Most importantly, though, like how much is it roughly to get that software that you mentioned about? Or does it require a price?
It is an open source software. There are a few softwares out there on the internet right now, but currently we're still looking to pinpoint which software would fit us properly for this MUSA launch. So this software is in fact free. So it's free of charge. The only expense that we have to incur is the Spotify, as Sean mentioned, where Spotify has already been settled by one of the MUSA. It's already been paid for by MUSA expenses. Apart from that, the expenses would remain in speakers.
Yeah, just 2 surround sound speakers for the entire public, basically.
Right.
That's right.
All right. Cool. Thank you. Are there anything else from you guys? Zoe, Sean?
Oh, can I add something? Do I have time? Yes, I got time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you guys spoke about the speakers, right? You can actually, if you guys are well enough to convince FMD to pay for it, they will pay for it. So you guys might not have to pay for it, but so just try to be. Don't ever tell them you're going to pay for it. Just go and ask them to pay for it, and then at the end of the day, if they refuse to do, then you do it. Okay, just a little tip.
Right.
That's all.
Thank you for that. Yes.
Thank you for that. Thank you very much.
All right. If Sean, Zoe, and Angel don't have any more questions, we'll have one final call for the audience to ask their questions. So do put your questions in the comments, and we will pass them along to Wilson and Alia. This is the last time you get to ask questions for this debate. So yeah, I would just like to remind everyone as well of what's to come. We still got a few more debates lined up. 2 more tonight. Let me just pull it up real quick. In the meantime as well, do put your questions in the comment section, and we'll pass it along to Wilson and Alia. All right, so for today, we got publicity officer later at 7, and we'll round it off. We'll round off the night with the women's officers debate at 8:15. So yeah, do tune in for that. I'm sure it'll be just as exciting. So yeah, if there aren't any more questions, we'll go on to Wilson and Alia's closing statement for 5 minutes. So yeah, it doesn't seem like we're getting anything
Okay.
else. So yeah, go ahead, Wilson and Alia, with your closing statement.
All right, so we'll try to make it short. Thank you, everyone, firstly. Wilson and I would like to thank our office bearers, Zoe and Angel, for helping us so much with our proposals, along with everyone involved in the MUSA general elections for their time and effort. Wilson and I really appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. Regardless of the upcoming challenges we will face in the upcoming year, we really promise to try our absolute best to make good on our promises and really fight for what the students want for the upcoming year. We hope that we have answered your questions and removed any doubts on our current running positions. And if you have any questions or inquiries, please do not ever hesitate to contact us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, I just said that this is the end, but it's not, because you just got 2 questions. So just before you guys go, I'll throw 2 questions at you guys for you to answer. First one from Peter Lawrence. When you guys mentioned about forcing students to listen to the songs they don't like, do you think this will affect the number of people visiting Lepak Place, thus affecting the restaurants there too?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Peter, for the question. I personally have never left a restaurant because they played music that I didn't like. But everyone is different. Everyone is different. And
Also, the thing is, as Spotify, Spotify, it's on queue. That's what we wanted to do actually, where everyone queues their songs. So you just queue your song, wait for the song to finish. If there's no other, put on more. And for me, personally, I like to listen to other people's songs because there may be songs that we've never heard of, but we like it. So if we're forced to listen to it, maybe we could just grow to like it. I mean, there's a lot of songs that you don't know, but then when you're forced to, you think, oh, it's a great song. So what about that?
But at the same time, the open source software that we use will have a feature to skip. And how it works is that if enough people vote to skip the song, then the song will be skipped.
All right, just one more thing, Wilson and Alia. This open source software, we've heard you mention this a couple of times already. Do you mind being a little more specific on what that open source software is? Just give us a name, maybe.
There's one open source project called Jukebox Monkey. I remember correctly, open source. We're currently still in the works of implementing this open source software. I don't personally think I'll be asked what. So Media Monkey. Media Monkey is the software name.
All right, cool. All right, we'll round off today's debate with one more question. This will be the last from Celine. Any initiatives in mind that do not require a budget?
Thank you very much, Celine, for the question. In fact, we did speak about a few of the budgetless initiatives that we would have. But just to reiterate for you, you want to say it? Just to reiterate, off the top of my mind, we do have an initiative for Monash speed dating. We hope that people would find this attractive. As I have friends from School of Engineering, not to call anyone, but I do have friends from School of Engineering and School of Science, and they complain that they never have the opportunity to meet other people in their courses, or any girls in their courses, or guys. And so we hope that this initiative, utilizing the assets that we already have, like tables and chairs, we will be able to have an inclusive event, right, that doesn't use a budget. So that's just one of the examples of these budgetless events. So yeah, if you would like more examples, we'll be more than happy to provide them to you. You can always contact us, and we could send you a list of ideas, and perhaps you could also contribute to them too. Because after all, we do have a discussion forum that will be available to you at the MUSA launch when we do go into office.
All right, fantastic. Anyway, we've come to the end now. Oh, we've got a bit of a follow-up coming, I think, to the speed dating thing. Okay, all right, we've got it here. We've got it here. Sorry, I won't let you guys go until you guys answer this. But Monash speed dating requires money, right? Materials, decoration, food, etc.
So basically, for the decorations, Zoe and Angel really told us about all the materials they have with them in the storeroom that they couldn't use for this year's event. So we definitely really want to make full use of those materials and cut costs.
So what we do have, as I've mentioned previously, we have the tables, we have the chair, we have decorations that are currently already present inside the office. But what we will, as you mentioned, food will be something that we will have to take into consideration.
Because for us, we didn't really think about food. We really wanted people to promote interaction between people and grow relationships. So we didn't think food was really a number one priority.
Right. The idea was speed dating is that you'd be able to rotate quickly, within 2 or 3 minutes. It'll be pretty hard to finish a meal in 3 minutes at every table that you go to.
All right. Thanks for that answer. Yeah, so we'll have to round it off here. We've already gone over time. So unfortunately,
So sorry, guys.
yeah, unfortunately, there's lots of questions coming in. So if you guys want, you can always reach out to Wilson and Alia yourselves and ask them. We are running out of time because we've gone over time actually. Sorry.
Is it alright if I add in like a sentence? Just a sentence.
All right, sure. All
For
right,
like the
sure.
candidates.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
just a short sentence. I would just like to tell you guys that with any event, right, students would not come if there are no food. So that's a very major factor that you guys have to consider and think about. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right.
Okay,
It's Monash
we'll take that into
111 thing.
consideration for sure.
She has a very good
All right.
point.
I mean, I know I turn up if there's food. Yeah, straight away, I'd be there, first one in line. All right, so let's end it here. Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks to the office bearers. Thanks to Wilson and Ali for showing up. Thanks to all of you watching and asked all those great questions. So yeah, we'll see you next time. We'll see you in a couple of minutes for the next debate with our publicity officer. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
See you.